Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams. Thank you for joining in.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Mataji Pranam.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all. Thank you for joining in for our teachings of Kunti study session today. Let's start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रधायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः Hare Krishna. So we'll continue from chapter 7 of teachings of Queen Kunti. So I'll share my screen, and devotees who would like to read can raise your hands. So chapter 6 ended with how Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what do they teach us? They teach us Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. They say that by rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Rishikesha, and our senses is Rishikena, that is Bhakti. When we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, that is Bhakti. Now the next chapter, chapter number 7 is entitled Dangerous Encounters. विशान् महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनात् असत् सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रतः मृधे मृधे अनेक महारथास्त्रतो द्रोण्यश्चितश्चाश्म हरे अभिरक्षितः. Sudhanshu Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poison cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great general fought. And now you have saved us from the weapons of Ashwathama. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.24. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted herein. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in a cake. Once they were put into the house made of shellak and set afire, and once Draupadi was dragged out and attempted were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hidimba, Rakshas, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there were the great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, when even everything was done, Away with, there was the Brahmastra, released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendant of the Kurus, Maharaj Parikshit.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Rani Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Here,
Pranam.
Kunti remembers all the dangers through which she passed before the Pandavas regained their kingdom. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. My dear Arjuna, you may declare to the world that my devotee is never vanquished. The Pandavas, the sons of Pandu, were great devotees of Lord Krishna. But because people in the material world are interested in material things, the Pandavas were put into many dangers. Their materialistic uncle Dhritarashtra was always planning to kill them and usurp the kingdom for his own sons. That was his policy from the very beginning. Once Dhritarashtra constructed a house of lac, which was so inflammable that when touched with a match, it would immediately burst into fire. Then he told his nephews and his sister-in-law Kunti, I have constructed a very nice house, and you should go live there for some time. But Dhritarashtra's brother Vidura informed them of Dhritarashtra's policy. He wants you to go to that house so that you may burn to ashes. When Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana understood that Vidura had thus informed the Pandavas, he was very angry. Such is the nature of politics. Then, although the Pandavas knew, our uncle's plan is to send us into that house and set it afire, they agreed to go there. After all, Dhritarashtra was their guardian, and they did not want to be disobedient to the order of a superior. But they dug a tunnel under that house, and when the house was set on fire, they escaped. Another
Thank you,
time,
Mataji.
when the
Hare
Pandavas
Krishna.
were at home,
Mani Manjari Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dharmat
Hare
Pranam. Another time when the Pandavas were at home, Dhritarashtra gave them poison cakes, but they escaped from being poisoned. Then, Purushad Darshana, they met a man-eating demon named Hidimba Rakshas, but Bhima fought with him and killed him. On another occasion, the Pandavas were cheated in a game of chess in the royal assembly of Kurus. Dhritarashtra, Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, and other elderly persons were present. And somehow or other, Draupadi, the wife of Pandavas, was placed as a bet. Now, if you lose, the Kurus told Pandavas, Draupadi will no longer be your wife. So when the Pandavas lost the game, Karna and Dushasan immediately captured her. Now you no longer belong to your husbands, they told her. You are our property. We can deal with you as we like. Previously, Karna had been insulted during Draupadi's Swayamvar. In those days, a very qualified princess would select her own husband in a ceremony called Swayamvar. In modern America, of course, any girl may select a husband as she likes. Although, for a common girl, this is actually not very good. But even in those times, an uncommon, highly qualified girl who knew how to select a good husband was given the chance to do so. Even this, however, was limited by very strict conditions. Draupadi's father, for example, placed a fish on the ceiling and he stipulated that in order to qualify to marry his daughter, a prince had to shoot an arrow and pierce the eye of the fish without directly seeing the fish, but seeing only its reflection in a pot of water on the floor. When these conditions were declared, many princes came to compete for responding to a challenge. It's a principle for a Kshatriya, a heroic leader.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Manisha Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna, pranams.
In the assembly for Draupadi's Swayamvara, Karna was present. Draupadi's real purpose was to accept Arjuna as her husband. But Karna was there and she knew that if he competed, Arjuna would not be able to succeed. At that time, it was not known that Karna was a Kshatriya. He was born the son of Kunti before her marriage. But that was a secret. Karna had been maintained by a carpenter and therefore he was known as a Sudra, a member of the lowest occupational division of society. Draupadi took advantage of this by saying, in this assembly only Kshatriyas may compete. I do not want any carpenter to come here and take part in the competition. In this way, Karna was excluded. Karna regarded this as a great insult, and therefore, when Draupadi was lost in the game, he was the first to come forward. He was Duryodhana's great friend, and he said, now we want to see the naked beauty of Draupadi. Present at that meeting were elderly persons like Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, and Dronacharya. But they did not protest. They did not say, what is this? You are going to strip a lady naked in this assembly? Because they did not protest, they are described as Asat Sabhayaha. An assembly of uncultured men. Only an uncultured man wants to see a woman naked. Although nowadays that has become fashionable, according to the Vedic culture, a woman is not supposed to be naked before anyone except her husband. Therefore, because these men wanted to see Draupadi naked in that great assembly, they were all rascals. The word Sat means gentle and Asat means rude. Therefore, Kunti Devi prays to Lord Krishna, you saved Draupadi in that assembly of rude men. When the Kurus were taking away Draupadi's sari to see her naked, Krishna supplied more and more clothes for sari. And therefore they could not come to the end of it. Finally, with heaps of clothes stacked in the room, they became tired and realized she would never be naked. They could understand it is impossible. Hare Krishna. Mataji, will I continue? Shall I continue, Mataji? At first, Draupadi had tried to hold on to her sari, but what could she do? After all, she was a woman, and thus Kurus were trying to strip her naked. So she cried and prayed to Krishna, save my honor. But she also tried to save herself by holding on to her sari. Then she thought, it is impossible to save my honor in this way. And she let go and simply raised her arms and prayed, Krishna, if you like, you can save me. Thus the Lord responded to her prayers. Therefore, it is not very good to try to save oneself. Rather, one should simply depend on Krishna. Krishna, if you save me, that is all right. Otherwise, kill me. You may do as you like. As Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Manasa Deha Gehu ye kichu mora arpilu tuya pade nanda kishora. My dear Lord, whatever I have in possession, I surrender unto you. And what do I have? I have this body and mind. I have a little home and my wife and children. But whatever I have, I surrender everything unto you. This is full surrender. A devotee of Krishna surrenders unto Krishna without reservation, and therefore he is called Akinchana. The word Akinchana
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. I need to read, Mataji. Can I read? Meera Mataji. Hare Krishna, you are mute actually. We cannot hear you, whatever you are saying.
Oh, sorry. I was on
Okay.
mute. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So I was saying, Ira Mataji can
Yeah.
unmute and read. Sorry.
Yes, Mataji. Hare
I'm so
Krishna, Mataji,
sorry. I
Dandavat
was
Pranam.
on mute. Please
My dear,
forgive me.
no, Mataji, it's okay. My dear Lord, whatever I have in my possession, I surrender unto you. And what do I have? I have this body and mind. I have a little home and my wife and children. But whatever I have, I surrender everything unto you. This is full surrender. A devotee of Krishna surrenders unto Krishna without reservation, and therefore he is called Akinchana. The word Akinchana refers to something one reserve for oneself, and a kinchana means that one does not keep anything for oneself. Of course, although actually one should surrender in this way, in the material world, one should not artificially imitate those who are fully surrendered. According to the example set by Rupa Goswami, whatever possessions one has, one should give 50% for Krishna and 25% for one's relatives who will also expect something. And one should keep 25% for personal emergencies. Before his retirement, Rupa Goswami divided his money in this way. Although later, when his brother Sanatan Goswami, another great devotee, was arrested, Rupa Goswami spent everything. This is full surrender. Similarly, Draupadi fully surrendered to Krishna without trying to save herself, and then unlimited yards of cloth were supplied, and the Kurus could not see her naked. But then
Thank you,
in the
Mataji.
next
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Manoj Mishra Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Okay. But then in the next game of chess, the bet was that if the Pandavas lost the game, they would go to the forest for 12 years. Thereafter, thereafter they were to remain incognito for 1 year, and if detected, they would have to live in the forest again for another 12 years. This game also the Pandavas lost. So for 12 years they lived in the forest, and for 1 year incognito. It was while they were living incognito that Arjuna won Uttara. These incidents are recorded in the book known as Mahabharata. The word Maha means great or greater, and Bharata refers to India. Thus, the Mahabharata is the history of greater India. Sometimes people regard these accounts as stories or mythology, but that is nonsense. The Mahabharata and the Puranas are histories, although they are not chronological. If the history of such vast period of time was recorded chronologically, how many pages would it have to? Therefore, only the most important incidents are selected and described in the Mahabharata.
Thank you.
Kunti
Hare Krishna.
prays
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Nikunji Vilasini Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Kunti
Hare
prays to Krishna by describing how he saved the Pandavas on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Midra
Mride
Mride
Mride Aneka
Neka
Maharashtrishtatah.
Mride Mride Aneka Maha Dhritarashtraha.
Maharashtrataha. Ratha.
Maha
Maharatha.
Maharatha yes Mataji
Maharatha.
Maharatha Shritaha. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they were great fighters called Maharathas, just as military men in the modern days are given titles like Le- Mataji,
Lieutenant.
I don't know. Lieutenant, Captain, Commander, and Commander in Chief. Formerly, there were titles like Ekaratha, Atiratha, and Maharatha. The word Ratha means chariot. So, if a chariot could fight against one chariot, he was called Ekaratha. Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry. And if he could fight against thousands of chariot, he was called Maharatha. All the commanders on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were Maharathas. Many of them are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Bhishma, Karna, and Dronacharya were especially great commanders. They were such powerful fighters that although Arjuna was also a Maharatha, before them he was nothing. But by the grace of Krishna, he was able to kill Karna, Bhishma, Dronacharya, and the others and come out victoriously. While victoriously, while speaking with Shukadeva Goswami, Maharaja Parikshit also referred to this. The battlefield of Kurukshetra, he said, was just like an ocean, and the warriors were like many ferocious aquatic animals. But by the grace of Krishna, my grandfather Arjuna crossed over this ocean very easily. This
Thank you,
is
Mataji.
very. Yeah,
Mataji,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
This is very significant. We may have many enemies who may be very powerful fighters, but if we remain under the protection of Krishna, no one can do us any harm. Raki Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rake Ke. He whom Krishna protects, no one can kill. But if Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can give him protection. For example, suppose a very rich man is suffering from disease. He may have a first class physician, medicine, and hospital available for him, but still he may die. This means that Krishna desired this man must die. Therefore, the so called protective methods we have devised will be useless if Krishna does not desire us to live. The demon Ravana was very powerful, but when Krishna, in the form of Lord Ramachandra, desired to kill him, no one could protect him. Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva and was praying to Lord Shiva, "Please come, save me from this danger." But Lord Shiva did not come. Then Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, asked Lord Shiva, "What is this? He is such a great devotee and has served you so much, and now he is in danger and is asking you help. Why are you not going to help him?" Then Lord Shiva replied, "My dear Parvati, what shall I do? I cannot give him protection. It is not possible. Why shall I go? Therefore, if God wants to kill someone, no one can give him protection. But if God wants to protect someone, no one can kill him. Raki Krishna Mare
Mataji,
ke,
Hare Krishna.
Mare Krishna Raki ke."
Himanshu Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mother. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
The Kunti is remembering how Krishna saved her and her sons one time after another. This is Smaranam, thinking of Krishna. Krishna, you are so kind to us that you saved us from many great dangers. Without you, there was no hope. Then the last danger was uh,
Drauniastra.
Dronastra, the weapon of Ashwatthama, the son of Drona. Ashwatthama performed a most abominable act by killing the 5 sons of Pandavas. Of course, in the battle of the Kurukshetra, both sides belonged to the same family, and practically everyone was killed, but the 5 sons of Pandavas survived. So the Ashwatthama thought, if I kill these 5 sons of Pandavas and present their head to Duryodhana, he will be very much pleased. Therefore, when the 5 sons were sleeping, he severed their heads, which he then presented to Duryodhana. At that time, Duryodhana was incapacitated. His spine was broken and he could not move. Ashwatthama said, I have brought the 5 heads of Pandavas, my dear Duryodhana. At first, Duryodhana was very glad, but he knew how to test the head to see whether they were in fact the heads of Pandavas. When he pressed the heads, or pressed the heads collapsed, and Duryodhana said, "Oh, these are not the heads of the Pandava, they must be the heads of their son." When Ashwatthama admitted that this was so, Duryodhana fainted, and when he revived, he said, "You have killed all our hopes. I hoped that in our family at least this bison would survive, but now you have killed them." Thus, in lamentation, he died.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Neha Mataji, go ahead. Subsequently.
I'm unable to. Hare Krishna Mataji. Subsequently, Arjuna arrested Ashwatthama and was going to kill him. In fact, Krishna ordered, kill him. He is not a Brahmana. He is less than a Shudra. But then Draupadi said, I'm suffering because of the death of my sons, and this rascal is son of our Guru Maharaj, Dronacharya, who has done so much for us. If Ashwatthama dies, then Dronacharya's wife, our mother Guru, will be very much unhappy. So release him and let him go away. Thus Arjun freed Ashwatthama, but Ashwatthama, having been insulted, retaliated by unleashing a Brahmastra. The Brahmastra is something like a nuclear weapon. It can go to the enemy wherever he is and kill him. Ashwatthama knew the last descendant of the Kuru family is Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu. He is in the womb of Uttara. So let me kill him also, and then the entire dynasty will be finished. When the weapon was unleashed, Parikshit Maharaj's mother, still in the womb of his mother. Parikshit Maharaj was still in the womb of his mother. Where did it go? Yeah, she was going to have miscarriage, and therefore she approached Krishna, saying, "Please save me." Krishna, by his mystic power, therefore entered the womb of Uttara and saved the child. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Parikshit Maharaj, who was still in the womb of his mother, was last remaining descendant of the Pandavas. And in mature time, when he was born and only his grandfathers were still alive, Parikshit Maharaj was the son of Abhimanyu, who was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra, Krishna's sister. When Abhimanyu was 16 years old, he went to fight and 7 great commanders joined forces to kill him. Subhadra had only one grandchild, Parikshit Maharaj. As soon as he grew up, the entire estate of the Pandavas was entrusted to him, and all the Pandavas left home and went to Himalayas. The history is described in the Mahabharata. Many great misfortunes befell the Pandavas, but in all circumstances, they simply depend on Krishna, who always saved them. Queen Kunti's response to this misfortune is recorded in the
Was recorded in the
Hare
next verse.
Krishna.
Thank you.
In
Hare
the
Krishna.
next verse.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So this particular chapter is a complete expression of gratitude by Kunti Maharani, recounting various instances, right? So I was hearing Vraj Bihari Prabhu's lecture. He was saying gratitude has to be fresh and gratitude has to be specific. So sometimes we say thank you for everything, right? But thank you for everything does not mean that we are actually grateful, because we simply want to say thank you and close the chapter. So he was saying gratitude has to be fresh. That means we recount what are the various instances in which somebody has helped us, and gratitude also has to be specific. Like Mother Kunti here, she is quoting specific instances, whether it is of the lac house, or whether it is Bhima being poisoned, or whether it is being Draupadi being protected by Lord Sri Krishna. So in this way, each and every instance was recounted by Mother Kunti. And in this way, Mother Kunti is actually expressing gratitude to Lord Sri Krishna for Krishna protected Mother Kunti and the Pandavas in all the instances, right? And the last part of it is also talking about how Krishna also protected Parikshit Maharaj, who was in the womb of Mother Uttara, right? At that time, when this Brahmastra was sent out by Ashwathama. Again, Mother Uttara also went to Lord Sri Krishna. So the Pandavas, as well as the entire descendants of the Pandavas, as well as Mother Kunti herself, right? They were always running to Krishna for any kind of difficulty. And that's what we even see in the gopis of Vrindavan and the Gopals of Vrindavan, right? The Gopals of Vrindavan, they also, whenever, whether it is the Indra Puja that was stopped, because of which there was a flood that's caused by Indra. Even then, the Vrajavasis, they went to Lord Sri Krishna for help. So the pure devotees of the Lord have no shelter, or they take no shelter of anyone else other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Sri Krishna also never fails in his affection for his devotees. Kaunteya pratijanihi nami bhaktaha pranashyati. Right? So Krishna asks Arjuna to declare, "Oh Arjuna, you declare that my devotee never perishes." So why does Krishna ask Arjuna to declare? Right? Krishna could have told. Right? Krishna has told also several times. But in this case, Krishna actually, sometimes Krishna does not fulfill his promise also. Like he told that I will not pick up any astra in the Kurukshetra war. But when Bhishma Pitamaha was showering arrows on Arjuna to protect Arjuna and to also enjoy Veeri Rasa with Bhishma Pitamaha, as was the desire of Bhishma Pitamaha, he picked up the wheel of the chariot and he rushed towards Bhishma Pitamaha. So he actually broke his promise, isn't it? So that is why Krishna may break his own promise, but he will never break the promise made by a devotee. So that is why he says, Arjuna, you declare that my devotee will never perish. And in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna is addressed as Achyuta. Achyuta means one who never fails in his affection for the devotees, right? And that's how Krishna is also introduced as the charioteer of Arjuna. So in this way, we see that if we surrender to the Lord, Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake Ke. If we surrender to the Lord, and the Lord will always protect us. And the Lord's protection need not be how we expect it, right? We may think that Parikshit Maharaj was protected in the womb of Mother Uttara, right? In the initial instance. And because Parikshit Maharaj had different purposes to engage in during his lifetime. But later on, when Parikshit Maharaj is cursed by Shringi for having put a dead snake on the neck of Samik Rishi, at that time, it seems Krishna does not protect Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj died at the end of 7 days, right? But did Krishna not protect Parikshit Maharaj? No. The Acharyas explain that Krishna did protect Parikshit Maharaj. How did he protect him? He protected him by making Shukadev arrive at the banks of the Ganges, where Parikshit Maharaj was sitting on the banks of the Ganges, waiting to die in the next 7 days. So in giving his own smaranam, Lord Sri Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. So how the Lord will protect is not something that we can imagine or we can understand with our material intelligence. The Lord always protects, and how he protects it depends on the Lord's own sweet will, and what the Lord considers is best for us. So in all points in time, what we need to do, we need to surrender to the Lord. We need to seek the protection of the Lord, and we need to accept the protection as given by the Lord. Thank you very much for joining in. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, devotees. We'll meet at 9 p.m. tomorrow as we continue from chapter number 8. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.